I decided to make a video about kind of some things I've seen on YouTube, people kind of wondering if, tarot is evil, or if psychics are evil, or this whole evil thing, and then religion coming into it and all this stuff. So these are just my opinions and my experiences, which is what I base my spirituality off of. I am a spiritualist. There are Christian undertones to what I do, which surprises some people not. And if you don't know who I am a psychic medium, been that way all my life, and I work for Apex Paranormal, which is a paranormal team in the Midwest. And I'm a psychic medium for them as well. And I'm a tarot reader, and this is my channel, and I've been doing readings for the past 10 years. So I guess, there's so much more to this question than, if you get a reading about the future love of your life, if that's an evil thing to do or whatever. So in my opinion, the short answer is no. I use tarot as a tool. It's like if you were going to write a letter to someone, you would pick up a pen. Not that people write letters anymore, but you get what I mean. It's a tool. It's for me, it can provide an outline. Do I have to use cards? No, I don't. Sometimes I can just sit there and start reading someone just off the messages that I get. Sometimes I can hold on to, if they have a piece of jewelry, I can hold on to that and I can start doing a reading for them that way. So to me, it's just another tool of how I'm able to pull messages through. I do consider myself a messenger, or just an antenna. And so I am clairaudient, claircognizant, clairsentient, all of the clairs. So I can receive messages in various sorts of ways. So, no, I don't consider tarot to be evil. I've never had anything come through a reading. If you watch readings, you'll understand that you're not conversing with an outside entity, really. To me, it's more I'm accessing my higher self to pull the information into the cards. It just provides an outline for me. So are you an evil person if you get readings? In my opinion, no, you are not. I am a spiritual coach, first and foremost, and I have a psychology background, so I kind of do some life coaching in there as well when I do readings for people. So there's a couple avenues that this kind of splits into, because when you are a psychic medium, and not all readers are psychic mediums, and that's fine, everyone reads differently. For me, being a psychic medium, the first thing that I had to realize is that just like there are dark people on earth, and I'm just going to break this down into terms that are just very easy to understand and for me to communicate to you, because we're talking about semantics here and belief systems and all of that. So I'm going to use terms like good and evil and things like that, so it's easy to understand. So when you deal with evil people or low vibrational people, or you deal with high vibrational or good people on this planet, you have to understand as above, so below. So in the ethers, in the other realms, there's good and evil. I've experienced both. When I said I was a Christian spiritualist, and let me just say that I have my belief system based on what I have experienced. And maybe it's just presenting itself in terms that I understand, which is completely possible. But you can say, or I can say, that I've had experiences with angels. I've had demonic experiences. I've had a demonic infestation. I'm not going to go into that here, or probably ever on my channel. I am writing a book about my life and my experiences to help other people. That will be included in that. But I went through hell literally for 3 months. So when you're a psychic medium, you experience these good and evil things because that's just what's out there. You don't have a choice necessarily. I have yet to run into somebody with abilities that has not experienced anything negative that scared the total crap out of them. It just happens. It's the realm that you're dealing in. It's not all unicorns and bunnies. It's just not. It's just not. There are things moving around out there in the other realms that can just as easily see you if you see them if you're psychic. That's just the way it is. Now, you can repress your abilities for a time, which is something I did. And I've shut them off completely because of some negative experience that I have had. These weren't through tarot cards. These experiences happened because I wasn't careful with my ability and how I used it. So, lesson learned from the universe. Stuff just happens. So I had to learn some things. I've had to learn spiritual boundaries as well as boundaries with other people and energetic boundaries. And that's what you have to do when you are the way that you are, to keep yourself safe and protected. And of course, there are things that I don't mess with and I don't deal with because I feel like that they would be harmful to me or dangerous to me or something that I feel like I couldn't control. So at this point, I should tell you that I am not a practicing witch or anything like that. I don't really practice anything, except I do like to use candle intentions. I'm a fire sign, so I love me some candles. So I do work on affirmations, law of attraction, intent. I do that, and some people would call that a practice. I just do what I do. So anywho, my experiences when I had the demonic infestation, I basically went to a priest, a Catholic priest specifically, not that it matters, for help because I was at a loss on what to do. And almost immediately when he got me on the phone, he was telling me that I was an evil person, that I was the reason that he was having problems with other people and other infestations and all of this other stuff, and basically he called me an evil human being. And I'd never met this man. Like, we were just talking on the phone, and I came to him for help because I didn't know what else to do. And I was scared beyond belief. So I tried to have a conversation with him that was like, well, why do you feel that way? And he said to me that human beings were not allowed to see the future or see other things or see other dimensions. And I'm like, well, if that was the case, why was I born that way? And I told him, I said, look, and he asked me if I was baptized, and I said, yeah. Now, granted, I'm not a big believer in organized religion. I have a lot, after this phone call especially, I had a lot of issues with it. But I said, my parents never did any kind of ritual or anything to make me this way, make me psychic or whatever. My parents, my mom went to Catholic school. She's Catholic. She grew up Catholic. My dad is Episcopalian and is still active in his church. So we were never forced to go to church. We went to church occasionally. However, I always had belief. I always had spirituality my entire life. I have had experiences my entire life. So I've always had an understanding of spirituality, and I always knew that I was different. And my parents knew that I was different. My parents did not discourage what I could do. I think they just saw in me some instances that were unusual, but they didn't really tell me to knock it off or that I was an evil person or whatever. They didn't ever do that because they never sent anything to me. My ability was able to grow and develop in the way that it was meant to. This is my path. This is who I am. So I've always used this ability to help others. And I've helped others through some really horrible situations and feelings and things that have burdened them. And I've always felt like I didn't want people to know or just believe. I didn't want people to believe in spirituality. I wanted them to know it, to know for a fact that the things that were beyond them were actually real things, because that's how I've always dealt with them. And I wanted to provide comfort to people in that way. If I could give them some kind of validation of something, then for me, that was enough, because that would give them hope. So that's what I've always used my abilities for primarily. Tarot helps me with that. It lets me see where someone is at in their life so I can deliver the messages I need to for them. So back to the priest and the phone call after he was berating me and calling me horrible things and everything was my fault and I shouldn't know the things that I know. And because I did, that made me an evil person. He said that, he would help me, that he would work with me, and I would just have to turn my back on everything and all this stuff. And I'm like, you're crazy, because you can't change who you are. And in my eyes, I was made in the image of the Creator, because that's what I've always been told. So there's nothing wrong with being psychic, and there's nothing wrong with being a medium. Now, your intent has to be pure, because this is a power, and power can be abused at any time. So I got off the phone with him and I was crying. I felt like 2 feet tall. I bawled and bawled. I was so upset, and how could he treat me this way and all this stuff. And I realized that he had triggered in me something that I had not dealt with in my life. That was just always sitting beneath the surface of who I was. And I wondered off and on for years if I actually was an evil person because of who I was. Because of what the Bible has said, that I'm not supposed to be this way, So there was this conflict within me of, well, am I evil or am I good? Am I this? Does God hate me? All this stupid stuff. And, at the time, to me, it wasn't stupid. It was very serious and something I did need to deal with to move forward. So I don't know if any of you have ever dealt with this, especially being raised around organized religion and then being born psychic. I had to do my own research. I had to come to terms with myself that I am a good person. I've always been a good person. I do what's right. I use this ability to help other people in the most profound ways. And that is my goal, to help people in the most profound ways. And I'm not just talking about, is someone my soulmate or whatever. I get that a lot. But people come to me wanting to know what happened to their loved one who committed suicide. Or people come to me because they're like me and, what does God think of them? And a variety of things, a variety of situations. So, I don't want you all to think that I'm down on Catholicism or anything like that. I just don't believe in organized religion necessarily. I believe in angels, and I believe in demons. I believe in God. I've seen Mary. That will go in my book. I've seen a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of things in my life. I've been on this earth for a long time. And longer than I usually am from previous existences. So I had to, again, come to terms with who I was, and that I was not an evil person, and God was not punishing me because I had a demonic attachment. There was a major lesson in that experience, as in all life experiences and spiritual experiences. And I had to learn from that. And I learned from that, and now I can teach others about it because I had that experience. So this is what we're left with. That was a major turning point in my life, and it had to happen. And I learned a lot. I experienced a lot. I got over some things within myself so I could move forward with what I'm supposed to be doing on this planet at this time, which, trust me, is not just tarot. There are other things. There are other things. So I hope this kind of helps anyone who is going through this. I mean, this branches off into many other things. I talk to a lot of parents who have highly psychic children. There's a lot of psychic children being born right now and have been born in the past few years. We can talk about aliens because alien disclosure is coming, my friends, and that will also, I mean, it will disturb some people with their own religious belief systems. And so as a spiritualist, I'm not at all surprised with alien existence at all. I mean, human beings, we are aliens. We are intelligent, mostly intelligent people, beings living on a planet in the universe. We're alive, we exist, we are aliens. So why can't there be other alien races? So when that happens, and if you look at aliens, they use telepathy, they use a bunch of other psychic abilities to exist. Psychic ability is a normal function, and it is something that can be developed and will be developed over time with many, many others. So I didn't mean to go completely off track there, but I mean, this just, belief connects to everything. And again, you also have to look at your intent behind what you are doing. If you are doing things maliciously to people, if you're wielding your power in a way that would hurt someone, then those are things that I personally stay away from, because karma and all of that. And my goal is to help people and not hurt them. So anyway, I hope that addresses some things, and I guess my main point here is that before you just label something or someone as evil, do your research on it and see, instead of following a sort of groupthink. I mean, what I did as part of my dealing with my conflicting sides of myself is I looked at lost books in the Bible. Book of Thomas, Jesus speaks specifically about psychics and how he left his body when he was being tortured and things like that. So you can find Book of Thomas scripture. There's a lecture on it. I can't remember the guy's name. But it's fascinating. Fascinating. Just, there's so many things that I just didn't know, that I just made assumptions about. So you really have to practice discernment with whatever you believe. And whatever you believe is something that is sacred. My spirituality is the foundation of everything that I do in my life. Every single thing, because without it, I don't have anything. Nothing. Okay. I think I've rambled for almost 20 minutes. I hope that helps you guys. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. And we will speak to you soon. Blessings. Bye.